August the 15th and the Feast of the Assumption in Jerusalem, the heartfelt devotion of the faithful who pray on this day in the very place where, according to an ancient tradition, Mary was assumed into heaven. At the crowded grotto of Gethsemane, the Custos of the Holy Land, Friar Pier Battista Pizzaballa, presided over solemn vespers before a fresco depicting the Assumption. The Franciscans and the faithful then processed to the adjoining church and descended to the tomb of Mary. We are near the lowest part of the valley of Kidron, at Gethsemane, where below street level are the partly hidden remains of a Crusader church, including a section of what might be the tomb of the Virgin, who, according to the dogma proclaimed by Pope Pius XII, did not know corruption in death, and who therefore was assumed, body and soul, to the heavenly Jerusalem. The authenticity of the site is supported by archaeological remains. Recent finds have confirmed that in this cemetery one tomb had been isolated and revered as a holy place since the 3rd or 4th centuries, and by apocryphal scriptures offering topographical indications of a new tomb at Gethsemane where the apostles laid the body of Mary.
È una intera collezione di scritti antichi che vanno sotto il nome di Dormizione.
There exists a collection of ancient writings under the name of the Dormition of Mary, or Transitus, and these refer to the last earthly days of Mary. As she went to pray, accompanied by an angel, says one of these texts, she receives a palm as a sign of immortality, and then, with a smile, falls asleep in the Lord. And she would soon awake in glory from that sleep of death. And it is wonderful, especially when one can be here, that belief in the full glory of the Assumption of Mary into heaven, in the company of God, was born precisely in this sanctuary. The ancient writings attesting this have a respectable origin, scholars having gone back to Judeo-Christian texts, in any case to the first centuries of Christianity. Each time I come to this hallowed spot, and I think that many pilgrims surely have the same experience, it seems that the prayers of the past centuries continue to echo here. Normally, no architect would think of designing a church to stand in a wadi, a normally dry river bed, if it did not involve an incomparable event, in this case the sublime and greatly revered memory of the tomb of Mary.
Così sublime, così grande della sepoltura di Maria.
It is only on this day that Latin Catholics are permitted to preside over prayer in this church, which is called the Tomb of the Virgin, and which was taken from the Franciscans in 1800 and is now in the hands of Greek and Armenian Orthodox Christians. We friars always feel nostalgic here, as we do in the Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre and the Basilica of the Nativity at Bethlehem. Yet today we are officially welcomed warmly by our Orthodox brethren, and our disappointment is also offset in the realization that we are near to the Cave of the Apostles, the olive grove of Gethsemane, and the Basilica, places which speak of the very roots of our faith. A brief moment of prayer, the Litany of Loreto, and a few hymns in the Western Marian tradition. Then the Custos, his fellow Franciscans, and all those present enter the edicule to venerate with devotion all that remains of the tomb of Mary. Devotion and sentiment, even behind the edicule, where one can admire the most cherished icon in the Holy Land, the Madonna of Jerusalem. Once again, faith seems to have been invigorated at these tangible remnants of the history of our salvation.